Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Srimad Hanumat Bhima Madhvantargata Ramakrishna Vedavyasatmaka Lakshmi Hayagrivaya Namaha. Namaskara to all Sajjanas. We are going through a series of discourses in the name Vedas and Unbiased View. And this is the third part of the discourse. So before getting into the glory of Vedas, the knowledge of epistemology or the Pramanas is very essential, and hence we are discussing about the Pramanas with the help of a scripture authored by Sri Tikacharya Sri Jayatirtharu named Pramana Paddhati. In the second part, we first discussed that to attain true knowledge about any object, defining the object is very, very important. So in relation to that, we went through some technical terms and definitions, especially dharma, which means the quality or the attribute of the object. There can be several dharma in an object, and lakshya is the object of knowledge, and lakshana is the definition. So under the video, in the comments section, all technical terms are given both in Sanskrit and English transliteration, because some of our followers asked for it. So it will be easy to follow the discourse looking into the technical terms written. And that is the idea of giving it in the comments section, and I will do it in this part of the video as well. Then we went through the definition of definition. So it is easy to say define something, but then what is the definition of definition? We have to have clarity on that. So we discussed that part. Then we lakshana is definition. Then we discussed what is meant by lakshana, what is meant by alakshana, that is non-definition. And finally we went through the pramana samanya lakshana, because we are proceeding to define pramana. That means we are proceeding to learn about the lakshana of pramana. So we defined what is meant by pramana. The samanya lakshana of pramana is yathartham pramanam. So yatha shabda represents that it is not more nor less as it is. That means exactitude or accuracy in the knowledge about the object of knowledge. And artha means the object itself. That is our goal for the object of knowledge. So yathartham pramanam, this is the definition, general definition of pramana. We went through that. When we say pramanas, when we read works like Pramana Paddhati, so let us not assume that this is completely only a spiritual or a religious scripture. Of course, it is a religious scripture because that is written towards understanding God through the pramanas. However, that has got wide application. It can be applied in mathematics, science, politics, and leadership, to develop the leadership skills. So where not, it finds its application everywhere. The rules, the methodology that is defined or given to us in works like Pramana Paddhati finds its application everywhere. I teach Pramana Paddhati to my son slowly, and whenever we discuss his school subjects, I used to teach him using the technical terms in Pramana Paddhati, so he will understand that the technical terms and the methodology here are not restricted only to the religion, and it can be very well applied in our mundane life. and in all our routines and everywhere. So recently, when I taught him geometry in mathematics, so the discussions were like, what is the Samanya Lakshana of a triangle? So then you can means how do you define a triangle? Like it has three sides. So you can say the sum of the angles of a triangle equals to 180-degree. So all these are its Samanya Lakshana. And when it comes to specific type of triangles, like for example, isosceles triangle versus equilateral triangle. So my son asked, in isosceles triangle, two sides are equal. In equilateral triangle, three sides are equal. That means two sides are also equal there. So how do you differentiate these two? Then there comes Sajati Vijati discussions, as we already went through in the part 2. So any object defined that becomes Sajati to similar such object which belongs to the same group. For example, if you take elephant, then another elephant is Sajati, and which is not an elephant, like deer, buffalo, cow, whatever it is, other than the elephant, that becomes Vijati, that is out of that group. Same group, different group. Sajati means same group, Vijati means different group. So when we discuss about the triangles in common, so all triangles become Sajati. But when we get into the specifics like isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle, then I told him that these become Vijati now. Equilateral triangle is Vijati to isosceles triangle. They are in different groups now. And in isosceles triangle, the Lakshana of that is only two sides are equal and two angles are equal. Whereas when you go to the equilateral triangle, all three sides and all three angles will be equal. So then we discussed about Ativyapti, Avyapti, like Alakshana, means over pervasiveness, under pervasiveness, when we compare the triangles and proceed to define them. So why I am saying this is because in his routine 8th standard mathematics, I was able to apply these principles of Pramana Paddhati while teaching to my son. So he will get the Western education in his school as well as the supreme Indian traditional education and knowledge. This is one such example. So you can say that the Indian scriptures, the knowledge about Pramanas and Vedas, whatever it is, it has got application not only in realizing God, getting the knowledge of God, but it has got wide application everywhere. Mathematics, science, politics, leadership, administration, even banking. You can apply that anywhere. So inference is a kind of pramana. Most of the cases dealt by the police and the cases argued in the court, those are mostly based on the perception and inference. So pramanas find its application everywhere. And just because of hatred, if someone ignores Hindu scriptures, then I would say they are really a big loss. So now, what is the use of this Lakshana Jnana? We discussed about Lakshana, the definition. So Tikacharya himself says in Pramana Paddhati, Sajatiya Vijatiya Vyavrittataya Lakshya Avadaranam Lakshana Jnanasya Prayojanam. So by Lakshana Jnanasya Prayojanam. So Prayojanam means benefit. So when you have Lakshana Jnana, you can very clearly differentiate our goal, that is the object of knowledge, from the other objects. Means similar objects that belong to the same group is called Sajati, and the objects that belong to other groups is called Vijati, as we already discussed. So it helps you, the Lakshana Jnana, in differentiation between Sajati, Vijati, between different objects. So our goal, knowing our goal, becomes more precise and clear. So that is the purpose or fruits. Prayojana means fruits, the fruits of the definition, knowledge of definition, or the Lakshana Jnana. So there is one more benefit. So in our routine life, we use so many words. We say cow. So the moment somebody says cow, the other person understands it. The cow need not be in front of them to understand. But the moment they hear the word cow, so the attributes of the cow and the form of the cow together comes to their imagination or the mind, and they understand what is a cow. Similarly, when we see an animal with a well developed dewlap, so we went through in the previous session that dewlap is the lakshana of a cow. Yata goho sasnadimatvam. That is the example that Tikacharya gave. So now whenever we see an animal with a dewlap, we call it a cow. So he says, Shabda Vyavaharova Lakshana Jnanasya Prayojanam. So what does it mean really? So the definition enables us to describe some object, to differentiate it from other objects of knowledge, and it helps us carry out our normal activities in terms of the words. Whatever is the object of knowledge or whatever that can come to our knowledge, that can be represented with a word. So collectively all lakshana of an object can be spoken in a single word. Like say for example, we say cow, then we all know what is a cow. We say deer, then we all know what is a deer. So when I say cow, nobody understands that as deer. When I say deer, nobody understands that as cow. So it is very clear that the Lakshana Jnana helps us in Shabda Vyavahara, in our routine life, the words that we use. So each object of knowledge is connected to a word, and the moment we utter the word, that object of knowledge comes to our mind. Or when we see that object of knowledge with a particular Lakshana, that is the definition of the object of knowledge, immediately the word that represents that object of knowledge comes to our mind. So this is Shabda Vyavahara. Shabda means sound. That is in the form of words. Now, Tikarayaru proceeds to define more. That is, he says, Pramavan Pramata, Prama Vishayaha Prameyam, Yatartha Jnanam Prama. So Prama means true knowledge. So Pramavan Pramata. Pramavan means one who possesses this knowledge, like how we say Dhanavan. So one who possesses riches, so much wealth, is called Dhanavan. Similarly, Pramavan means one who possesses Prama. That is one who possesses the knowledge. That person is Pramata. And Prama Vishayaha, that is the object of knowledge, is called Prameya. And finally he says Yatartha Jnanam Prama. That means Yatartha means we already went through the definition. Yata means exactitude or accuracy. Artha means object of knowledge. So the accuracy in jnana or knowledge about the object of knowledge, that is called Prama. So by defining the Prama as Yatartha Jnana, that means which is not Yatartha Jnana, that is, which is not the true knowledge, which is not the exact or accurate knowledge, cannot be called Prama, right? So we said the true knowledge means Yatartha Jnana. That that means there is something called ayatartha jnana, opposite to that, right? That which is not true. So this ayatartha jnana is divided into two types further. So one is samshaya, that means doubt, and the other one is viparyaya. Viparyaya means the error or false cognition. So yatartha jnana means true cognition, and ayatartha jnana means that which is not a true cognition. So in that we have two categories. One is called samshaya, doubt, and the other one is viparyaya, that means false cognition. So for doubt, if we have to have a doubt, then there should not be any nishchita jnana. That means we should not have concluded anything. That there has to be dolayamana. That means the thought that this or that, this or that. So these two extremes should always be there to have a doubt. Whereas when we say viparyaya, then that is the error or the false cognition. Means there is no doubt there. Somebody gets the knowledge of something, that is a false cognition, but they have concluded that that is factual. So understanding something that is not true as true and concluding it, that is viparyaya. Whereas in doubt or samshaya, there is no conclusion. There is always an oscillation, dolayamana, that this or that, this or that, this or that. So now getting into samshaya or the doubt, the traditional philosophies like the Tarkikas, people like Bhushana, they say doubt has five causes, means five factors causes doubt. So they list them. Tikacharyaru himself lists those five, what the Tarkikas give. Tarkika means logicians, the philosophy that adopts logic as their prime means. So they actually give five causes of doubt, and they also give examples for each type to understand. So the first type or the first cause that they say in connection with the doubt is sadharana dharma. So dharma means attribute or quality. We already went through that. So sadharana dharma means a common attribute or common quality. How does a doubt arise from common quality? We said that doubt is unconclusive thing, means comes from the thought this or that, this or that. So now, for example, they say Stanurva Purushova. That is the example in Sanskrit. For example, if you take a tree or a post during night time, so somebody comes out and there is a darkness with mild light from somewhere. So the object is visible, but that is not clearly visible. Now, looking into the object, the person who observes it gets a doubt whether it is a tree or a human, because this is a common property of both. Let us assume a tall man and a tree, small tree. So, or a post, maybe a post. Okay. So, being tall is a common attribute of these two. So, if that is a human, then there have to be some movements, but that movement is not found. So, we could not, like hands, legs, all the head, all those are not clearly visible. So, we cannot conclude that is a human. And if you see the tree or post, it is still dark and you cannot conclude that is whether a tree or post as well. So this or that, whether it is a post or a human, it's a tree or a human. So this kind of oscillation comes and a doubt arises from the common attribute. So this is called doubt, samshaya, from sadharana dharma. And the next one is, next category they say is asadharana dharma. Asadharana dharma means an unique attribute. So even from unique attributes, doubt may arise, samshaya may arise. So the example they give is akasha, or the sky is eternal, and sound, shabda, is the property of akasha. Now, the akasha being eternal, the sound that is a property of this akasha is eternal or not? Some people say that shabda is eternal because Vedas are eternal, Vedas are made of shabda. However, in our practical life, we see that when somebody speaks, so the sound commences, that comes from their abdomen, that through the vocal organs, it commences, comes through the mouth, and then after a certain distance, it vanishes. So whether sound is eternal or non-eternal, a doubt is caused here. Sound is both eternal and non-eternal. Vedas are eternal, whereas the instrumental sounds are non-eternal. So we will come to that later when we discuss about the eternity of Vedas. So many objections are raised there and are convincingly answered. So when we come to that stage, so there let us discuss various types of sounds like Dvanyatmaka, Varnatmaka. There are two types of sounds. So we will be discussing through that. We'll be going through that. As of now, so this is how a doubt arises from a unique attribute. And the third type is Vipratipatti. Vipratipatti means controversy or controversial facts. Or both cannot be fact because it is controversy. Only one thing is a fact, maybe. Lies can be several. We already went through that in part 1. So Vipratipatti means it is quite contrasting opinions. The example given is, say for example, Vaisheshika, the philosophy named Vaisheshika. They say that the senses, indriyas, are bhautika. That means materialistic. Whereas the philosophy called Sankhya, they opine that the senses are abhautika, that is non-materialistic. So when two philosophies give two controversial statements, so which one is correct? Whether this is correct or that is correct. So the this or that oscillation comes there, and hence a doubt is caused. Similarly, the fourth type is upalabdhi. Upalabdhi means cognition. When we are able to cognize something, when we are able to see something, so doubt arises from that. So they give an example, digging of well. So somebody digs a well for water, of course, and they find water after digging to certain extent. Now they get a doubt whether this water that I am seeing now had been already existing in this well, means there could have been some wet mud from which the water can squeeze and come out. So is it that kind of water, or is it really the fresh water that has come out because of my digging activity? So when you see something, the doubt arises from that. And the next type is called, fifth type is called Anupalabdhi, the fifth cause of doubt as per Tarkikas. So Anupalabdhi means non-cognition. So we saw from the cognition doubt arises. Now even from non-cognition the doubt could arise. The example given for that by Tikacharyaru is, say for example, you take a banyan tree. So on the banyan tree, somebody says there exists a demon, a pishachi. So a person out of curiosity goes near the banyan tree to see if there is any demon, but he could not see any demon. Now the doubt arises. So the demons or the pishachi, they have the ability to hide themselves from our eyes. So does the demon really exists here and has hidden itself from my eyes because of its ability to hide itself, or I'm not able to cognize a demon because really there is no demon here. So whether the demon is present and hiding from me, the Pishachi is present and hiding from me, or there is no Pishachi at all, and that is why I am unable to see it. This or that. So a doubt arises. So now, the Tarkikas or the logicians say there are 5 causes of a doubt. So one is, as we saw, Sadharana Dharma, common attribute. Then Asadharana Dharma, even from unique attribute, the doubts arise. Then Vipratipatti, the controversial statements or things. From that also the doubts arise. And Upalabdhi, that means from the cognition the doubt arises. And Anupalabdhi, even from the non-cognition, the doubt arises, as we saw in the demon examples. So these 5 causes of doubts are as per Tarkikas. Whereas in Madhva philosophy, Sri Tikacharyaru says the 5 classification is unnecessary because all the 5 gets into the first one, that is the common dharma. So in the next part, so we will see how the 5 is getting reduced to 3 by some other philosophers, and how Sri Tikacharya further reduces it, says 5 classification are unnecessary, how that can be all inclusive in one type, that is the Sadharana Dharma, and what is meant by Viparyaya, that is we saw 2 kinds of Ayatartha Jnana, one is Samshaya, other one is Viparyaya. So we will have some details about Viparyaya as well. So the takeaway is, from this part, we have to understand that Yathartha Jnana, the true knowledge, is there. Similarly, whatever is not true falls under Ayatartha Jnana. Under Ayatartha Jnana, there are 2 types. One is the Samshaya and the other one is Viparyaya. Samshaya means doubt and Viparyaya means false cognition. In Samshaya, the conclusion does not happen. We just keep on thinking whether this or that, but we will not be able to conclude. Whereas in Viparyaya, in the false cognition, we might have already concluded that what we cognized, the false cognition, we might have concluded that as true, but that is not true, in fact. So we have to understand that the Yathartha Jnana, the true knowledge, is absent in Samshaya and Viparyaya. So in the next session, as I said, we will go through some more details about this Samshaya Viparyaya, and then let us get into the instruments of knowledge, that is Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Shabda or Agama. And the Vedas fall under Agama. So once we finish this gist or a brief on Pramana Paddhati, we can get an answer to our initial question raised in the first part, that is, why Vedas? So once we understand the importance of Vedas, what is the role of Vedas, why Vedas are required, then it will be easy for us to further discuss on the glory of Vedas, the eternity of Vedas, what are all the debates that are against the Vedas, to either prove that Vedas are useless or to prove that Vedas are useful but they are not eternal. All these are opposite views, opponent views, and we will be looking into the Madhva philosophical view about the Vedas, which conclusively says, after a lot of logical analysis, that Vedas are really useful and are eternal. So we will be going through the other parts one by one. Let me conclude this part with this. And whatever technical things we discussed in this part, I will again include them in the YouTube comments section. So one can go through that. I will give it in both Sanskrit and English transliteration. So those who know to read Sanskrit can directly read in Sanskrit. Others may look into the English transliteration. So I conclude this part here. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.